Good afternoon. We would like to begin by acknowledging the shared traditional ancestral territory of the Sumas First Nation and Matsqui First Nation. These two First Nations are part of the Stolo Nation, within whose traditional and unceded territory our school is today. The Stolo people are the people of the river and have lived in the Fraser Valley for thousands of years. We also acknowledge that many of our students live throughout the province of British Columbia on the traditional and unceded territory of the many First Nations represented on this map. Welcome, family and friends of West Coast, to the 2021 graduation. My name is Melanie Kartik, and I'm honored to serve as West Coast Principal. I'm so glad that you're here today and look forward to celebrating this important milestone with you all. Whether you are joining us from your living room, office, or kitchen, we're here together as a community, just as we should be. Those of you who are joining us via YouTube Live, I encourage you to take full advantage of the comment feature as we move through the various elements of the program. We'd love to hear from those of you who are viewing. Mrs. Sutherland, our Vice Principal, will lead us in prayer as we begin our program.
Good afternoon. Please pray with me. Our Father in heaven, as we gather today to celebrate our West Coast graduates and the steps they have taken to get to this day, we want to pause to express our gratitude. Our gratitude for each one of these students, for the school West Coast, which has provided a safe place to learn and grow, which has been especially treasured during this year of uncertainty, and for the families and friends who have cheered these students to the finish line and stood by their sides through the triumphs and bumps in the road. Lastly, we want to express our gratitude for your love, which has been made evident through the relationships our students and teachers have made. We will carry these connections in our hearts for years to come. As these students bask in their successes, we ask that you continue to guide them in the ways that they should go. In your name we pray. Amen.
It is my great honor to introduce our graduating class to you today. When I contemplated words that best describe this class, I thought of words like extraordinary, kind, and driven. All of these students have played various roles of leadership in our school, from organizing spirit weeks, to planning social events, to spearheading fundraisers, to leading out in discussion in encounter class. These students are natural-born leaders. With each investment of time and energy they have put into our school, they have left a legacy that is sure to be remembered for many years to come. I would be remiss if I didn't note that this class is remarkable academically as well. Of the five of our 7 graduates are graduating today with 90% or above grade point average in their high school courses. Wow. Sarah, Brooklyn, Beth, Nathaniel, Anya, Alana, and Jacob. I want to say a personal thank you to each of you for being the kind of students that our younger ones can look up to. Thank you for being passionate about West Coast and for making it better with your keen intellect, infectious enthusiasm, kind hearts, and beautiful smiles. Thank you for sharing your deep thoughts and being willing to stay by and converse with us teachers every once in a while. It has been a great honor to serve you, and we'll miss you terribly after you leave. Don't forget, you have a year to take additional courses with us if you want to. We'll hold on to you as long as we possibly can. The verse that you, the grad class of 2021, has chosen highlights that God is so proud of you as well, that he loves you more than any of us can imagine. Psalm 139 verse 14 says, "I praise you because I am fearfully and wonderfully made. Your works are wonderful. I know that full well." Graduates, you are each truly a masterpiece. As you go out into the world, my prayer for you is that you will grow each day in your knowledge of how precious you are to the one who knit you together and watches over you with love. Congratulations. We'll now proceed to the student features portion of our ceremony, where high school teachers will individually introduce you to each one of our grads.
We'll begin today with Brooklyn Gerber. Brooklyn has been my constant companion these past few years in our encounter classes. She is a consistent young lady, born in Abbotsford, where she continues to live there in the same house, in the same room, with even the same parents. Brooklyn's West Coast memories include getting to know all of the kids and staff outside of the classroom setting. Spirit Week and movie nights were her favorite. In response to the question, who at West Coast has made the biggest impact on your life this year, Brooklyn responded, saying that the combined power of three amazing women, Mrs. Cardick, Mrs. Sutherland, and Ms. Engelbrecht, really touched her. Their commitment not only to their families, but to us kids really touched me, she says, and I'm forever grateful. You're most welcome, Brooklyn. Brooklyn aspires and dreams to continue to live a life centered around Jesus and helping others, whether helping the homeless in Abbotsford or the homeless on another continent. Brooklyn finds joy in serving others and spreading God's love. In terms of career goals, Brooklyn's not sure if God will use her in the music scene, the teaching scene, the missionary scene, or all three, but she's excited to find out. And after graduation, Brooklyn will be taking a year to finish her ARCT in piano performance, and she'll also be continuing with teaching piano, lifeguarding, and applying to universities. The advice Brooklyn has for students who will be graduating next year is to enjoy your time and use it to prepare you for your future. Remember that struggling is okay, and most students understand what you're going through. Never be afraid to reach out. As you are someone who dearly loves to laugh, this is the verse I chose for you, Brooklyn. She is clothed with strength and dignity and laughs without fear for the future. Proverbs 31:25.
Nathaniel Gromick. Nathaniel Gromick was born in Langley, BC, and is now living in Aldergrove. Nathaniel joined West Coast for his grade 12 year. Although he has only been a part of our West Coast family for a short time, Nathaniel has become well loved by his teachers and peers. He is known by his teachers to be extremely polite, kind-hearted, and hardworking. He is also a very talented cook. Nathaniel says that one of his favorite things about West Coast is seeing new faces and getting to know new people. He would especially like to thank his teachers and fellow students because they always made him feel welcomed and provided a positive atmosphere to learn in. After graduation, Nathaniel plans to find a job and work. He is still figuring out what he wants to do for a career, but he states that he plans to shoot for the stars. A piece of advice that Nathaniel would like to leave his fellow West Coast students with is to build relationships and bonds with your peers and to always work hard and do your best. It pays off. Nathaniel, a verse that we have chosen for you is delight yourself in the Lord and he will give you the desires of your heart. Psalms 37:4. Nathaniel, this verse was chosen for you because you have a desire to do great things. Even though you may not know specifically what those desires are yet, continue to follow God's guidance and those desires that exist within you will be revealed.
Alana Johnston was born in Comox, BC, and currently lives in Port Hardy. She's an island girl. Her favorite West Coast memory is when the teachers performed the synchronized swimming video after Spirit Week last year. And I'll pause here to say you're going to hear a lot about this synchronized swimming video that the teachers did. And if you were curious, it's on our YouTube channel. You may enjoy it after the program. But back to Alana. In response to what person at West Coast has made the biggest impact in your life this year, Alana says, at our school, the teachers made such an impact. You can tell they really love their job. I was also impacted by Beth and Sarah's kindness, including how they organized working meetings that they made fun and enjoyable. Alana's hopes for the future include continuing with art and photography, working for the rest of 2021, and hopefully some traveling and some camping around the island with some friends. She will enroll for college in January of 2022 to study nursing, specifically geriatric care. While studying, she also hopes to continue playing volleyball. The advice Alana gives to students who will be graduating next year is to stay on top of your mentored classes. Excellent advice. The verse I have chosen for you, Alana, is love does not delight in evil, but rejoices with the truth. It always protects, always trusts, always hopes, and always perseveres. 1 Corinthians 13:6-7. And Alana, you have shown these traits of love to be true in your time at West Coast. Thank you so much.
Say Anya Buffet. Say Anya Buffet was born in Vancouver, BC, and currently lives, in Chilliwack, BC. Her favorite West Coast memory is passing messages via private chat during live class, to her friends and watching their faces as they tried not to laugh. So as it turns out, many of my questions were inadvertently answered, say by Anya's best friend or a certain non-medical doctor. Anya thinks all of her teachers have had the largest impact on her. However, especially Mrs. Sutherland, Mrs. Cardick, Ms. Engelbrecht, and Mr. Brock. Thanks. Say Anya says that all of them helped teach her so much, and she is grateful that she had them as teachers. So Anya's long-term plan is to go into diagnostic medical sonography and one day become the head of a medical imaging department. Say that's a noble goal. Say in her more immediate future, she's planning on taking either the Intro to Diagnostic Medical Sonography course at NATE or their Radiologic Technology program. Anya's advice for the soon-to-be grade 12s is threefold. Say 1, I hope you build a strong relationship with your classmates as I did. Say 2, never take for granted the teachers who have dedicated their time to help you. And 3, don't be afraid of change, but instead face it with courage and know that you will get through it. Say the verse that I've chosen for you, Anya, following up on your advice, say to the upcoming seniors, is be strong and courageous. Do not be afraid or in dread of them, for the Lord your God is the one who is going with you. He will not desert you or abandon you. Deuteronomy 31:6.
Sarah McFarlane. Sarah McFarlane was born in Calgary, Alberta, and currently resides in the village of Montrose, just outside of Trail, BC, in the southeastern British Columbia. One of her favorite memories of West Coast was the high school games night with the teachers. Sarah was able to guess all the trivia about me because of our shared love of cats. Although I'm not sure about her complete devotion to them, because she did offer to give me them at one point this year. All the teachers, and especially Ms. Engelbrecht, impacted Sarah's life with their encouragement and kindness. Sarah and Beth meet almost daily on Zoom to work on their schoolwork together. Sarah says that without her, she wouldn't have survived grade 12. Sarah really cares about people, and this is evident from her future aspirations of being a teacher or a nurse. She has considered both of these choices and how they would be useful in the mission field as well. Her dream is to put a smile on everyone's face and help all those she comes in contact with. Sarah plans to take next year to do some more high school classes. Advice that she would give to the other students would be to not be scared to ask for help. The teachers don't bite. And also to find a classmate who you can work with and who will motivate you. I've certainly enjoyed getting to know you, Sarah, through careers class and work parties this year. The Bible verse I've chosen for you is Philippians 4, verses 6 and 7, and this is the Message translation. Don't fret or worry. Instead of worrying, pray. Let petitions and praises shape your worries into prayers, letting God know your concerns. And before you know it, a sense of God's wholeness, everything coming together for good, will come and settle you down. It's wonderful what happens when Christ displaces your worry at the center of your life.
Say Jacob Paddock. Say Jacob began his life, say in Fort McMurray, Alberta, and has now made his way to Perth and over New Brunswick, say where he currently lives. So Jacob has many memories from his time at West Coast, say, but his two favorites are when the orca was made the official mascot, Go Orcas, say, and the Christmas play. Say when asked, say who made the most impact this year in your life and why, Jacob responded, Mr. Brock. Say he met with me every school day to help me catch up in my math and chemistry courses and help me along in any way possible. If it wasn't for that, I wouldn't be at this graduation today. To which I would reply to Jacob, say you earned this, say day, but thank you. Say Jacob's dream is to run his own business, say, someday enter politics, and forever change the way we fly commercially. After graduation, Jacob intends to enter the home inspection business for a couple of years and start a lead generation agency. I can tell that you're trying to take advantage of that compound interest we learned about in math. Jacob's advice to the upcoming seniors. Say first, ask your teachers and fellow classmates for help and advice. We've all gone through the same thing and are more than happy to help. Second, remember that your life is bigger than one assignment or test. Don't let a poor score bring you down. It's an opportunity for improvement, and it will seem much less significant in a few weeks or months. This is a hard learned lesson, but I'm glad it's one that Jacob is passing on to the others. And third, learn the value of time and proper time management. It will forever change your life. Speaking of which, Jacob, how many minutes do you have left on your Wi-Fi? So the verse I've chosen for you, Jacob, is primarily related to flying, but it's also, I know it's been a long road for you, and it talks about, and you've probably become weary along the way and relied on God's strength. So this is the verse that I chose. Yet those who wait for the Lord will gain new strength. They will mount up with wings like eagles. They will run and not get tired. They will walk and not become weary. Isaiah 40, verse 31.
Beth Thompson. Beth Thompson was born in Kelowna and currently lives in McBride, BC. Beth has been a part of our West Coast family since her grade 10 year, although it seems like she's been here a lot longer because I barely remember a day without Beth. Her bubbly personality and contagious smile brings so much joy to the online community, and you can be sure to hear, or in our online school case, you can be sure to see at least one giggle from her in every class. Beth has shared many fond memories with her classmates and teachers, and one in particular that she highlights are the West Coast Spirit Weeks. She has definitely made her mark during the Spirit Weeks and has always been an active participant. Beth would like to thank a few individuals who have made a big impact in her life this year. Mrs. Sutherland for the countless hours helping her with math and being someone who she can confide in. You have been more than just a teacher to me, she says. Thank you. Mrs. Kartik for making me feel accepted and reaffirming that Jesus stands by me no matter what. Sarah McFarland for being the friend to me that I truly needed. We spent hours doing homework and making Bible studies together. I am excited for the day that we can hang out in person. After graduation, Beth plans to do some upgrading in her courses for a year before hopefully traveling to Tanzania to visit an orphanage that she helped fundraise for. Wherever life takes her, Beth's main mission is to be of value to God in whatever career path she chooses. As her favorite quote says, strive not to be a success, but rather to be of value. The verse I chose for you, Beth, is Romans 8:28. And we know that all things work together for the good of those who love God, those who have been called according to his purpose. Beth, I chose this verse for you because I know that you are going to do amazing things because you are a woman of God, and that is so evident in everything you do. He has a purpose for you. Continue to be open to his leading, and you will be successful in everything you do.
Our graduating class decided that rather than having one graduate do the whole speech, they would rather do it together, cooperatively. Alana will begin by thanking the graduates' families. We hope you enjoy.
We are the class of 2021. We are all here today not to only celebrate us, but the people who got us here. I asked my fellow peers the question of what family means to them, and I'm going to share some of their thoughts. To Beth, family means everything to her. She would not be here today with us if it was not for her uncle and aunt taking her in and smothering her with endless amounts of support and love. They are the reason she stands here today with us and helped her find her purpose in life and reconnect with God. Her brothers motivate her every day to work hard for her goals, to be a great example for their futures. To Sarah, family is those who help raise each other up and grow together, blood or not. It brings the utmost joy and happiness for her being surrounded by those loved ones, and also in having family in God is he'll never disappoint us. To Brooklyn, family plays the biggest role in our lives. They'll always be the first to help support you through the late nights, the study sessions, the crying sessions, and make sure you get it done. They'll also be the first to celebrate your success and share the moment with you in triumph. Family means everything to us all. It is our support system through not only the victories, but the failures and stresses. They are the ones along the sidelines cheering and clapping for us the whole way as we run through all the finish lines of life. Today, I want to take a moment to thank all the family members and West Coast staff members who have gotten us to this moment right now, this finish line. To say all that time spent at practices, packing lunches, and dedicating your time to help us with frustrating homework is appreciated is an understatement. We are all here today because of you, and no amount of words can express how thankful we are for that. I know you'll keep cheering us on as we go on to bigger marathons in life and pushing for us to more victories and always being there to pick up the pieces.
West Coast has an amazing group of staff. I've heard it from conference office workers, all the students at West Coast, and especially the parents. For me, I felt so blessed to get to know each teacher and see how over time they've played a big role in shaping me. When I was thinking about our teachers and all they've done for us, I realized they exemplified the fruits of the Spirit to all of us kids. In Mrs. Cardick, we've seen such kindness in every encounter with her. I know that whenever we need to meet with her, she quickly finds the time in her very busy schedule for each and every one of us. In Mrs. Sutherland, there is such unconditional love and joy. It is so obvious the love she has for her students in her class, and I know that most of us can say we love giggling with her. Through Mr. Brock, I think we can all agree that patience is an incredible virtue. I cannot imagine hearing, "Mr. Brock, I don't understand this," day after day, year after year, though I know he has to hear it from not only myself, but many others. Through Miss Engelbrecht, we saw such innate goodness and faithfulness. And although she would probably ask me to now define goodness, I think we can all agree it is within her. It is so clear to see how rooted she is in God, and through our many philosophical talks, I know that she has encouraged us to also find our grounding in Him. When Mrs. Morrison came back, we were once again blessed with her sweet gentleness. No matter how big something can seem, after talking it through with her, it seems so doable. And lastly, Mrs. Chaparro has this beautiful humility and peace that radiates from within her. From her flexibility in all aspects to her readiness to listen and talk a confusing assignment through, I know we're all grateful for her. After talking to the rest of the grade 12 class, I can see their gratitude even clearer now. Beth mentioned how understanding and guiding each teacher was as they helped her through a super rough patch of her life. She also enjoys, as she calls it, those laughing good times with Mrs. Sutherland. Jacob mentioned that without Mr. Brock's patience and care, he probably wouldn't be graduating right now. Both he and Sarah also really appreciated Miss Engelbrecht's brilliant philosophical debates. Sarah mentions how caring and supportive each staff member is. Through Miss Engelbrecht, her confidence grew. Mrs. Sutherland, her time management skills improved. And through Mrs. Morrison, her faith grew in times where she felt anxious. Alana speaks to the fact that so often the teachers helped her through things outside of school hours, and how by going to great lengths, they're showing how much they love their job and students. I know that we have been so blessed to have encountered these teachers in our lives. I'm not sure how many students in the world get to feel this way, but I'm so hopeful that I get to stay in touch with these teachers for the rest of my life.
When I asked my fellow classmates what their experiences were at West Coast, I was really, truly not disappointed with their answers. I think we can all agree it has been very enjoyable. And of course, we can all agree that it is school, and school is hard and it can be stressful. But West Coast offers flexibility, and every single one of the teachers I've had the pleasure of having have all been so helpful. They always answer, and surprisingly fast at almost any time of day. Something I think we can all agree on as well is how amazing all of the students are. Without West Coast, there are some pretty cool people I wouldn't know, and they're all unique and driven. I have created some incredible friendships, and I am comfortable enough with them all to actually cry in class. A lot of us can all agree that West Coast is by far one of the best schools we have attended. The teachers are personal, kind, and loving, and do everything they can to get to know each student and help them succeed in their academic goals. Enjoyable, joyous, welcoming, and many more words can be used to describe our experience. West Coast has taught us to find joy in the not so joyous times, how to build your self-discipline so you can finish school on time, and has shown us how creative teachers can be to help you when you come to a crazy point in your life. Because West Coast is an online school, it works with you and with your life. Well, they try their best to do that. When Jacob was sick, they found a way for him to still do something without being overworked. When I was forced to move here and was transferred to the school and was struggling mentally, all the teachers were patient with me and found ways I could finish what I needed to. Sarah was sent to this school as a last-minute thing, and it brought her out of her shell and showed her how finding self-motivation is so important. Alana has found such amazing hands-on, one-on-one time with teachers here, which is something a lot of us have never found in any other school. Brooklyn has found love and grace through the staff that has made her experience here a lot more pleasant, even in the hard times. Nathaniel has found his time here really enjoyable, and Anya has loved what she is learning and all the class discussions we have. I think all of us would recommend West Coast, and don't get me wrong, all high schools have their hiccups, but West Coast is the most personal and loving school I have ever had the pleasure of attending.
Each one of us is here to share cherished memories from our journey through West Coast Adventist School. Over the years, we have kept various events, conversations, encounters, stories, and interactions we have had with each other along the way deep within our hearts. And I can say for a fact that the memories made here will stay with us as our lives go on, and we will look back at the amazing bonds, friendships, and laughs that we have experienced together. I cannot express how grateful I am personally to have gone through this journey with all of you here now. So that said, I would like to reminisce with everything that has happened and share with you all what each one of us holds dear to ourselves. So starting with Brooklyn, her favorite memory from her time at West Coast was to sit back and watch everyone do their thing. She also enjoyed listening to the teachers talk when she accidentally came back to the breakout room too fast, or watching them crack up over someone's comment in the chat box. It was just so special, as well as watching everyone's facial expressions through the screen. Talking to everyone or just listening to the off-topic dialogue made her feel so much closer than an online school could ever make her feel. West Coast is truly a community she will miss. Moving on to Jacob, there is so much that has happened to him, but for his top memories were when the teachers had done the synchronized swim video. Absolutely hilarious, he says. When we all voted for the orca as mascot, the Scotland tour with Miss Sutherland, and lastly, just nerding out and debating in encounter class. He would also like to add Beth's giant iconic water jug, as it became very exciting and motivating to see her with it in class, and it made us all want to start drinking water more. Beth definitely agrees with loving the synchronized swim video. That was something we all enjoyed. We also remembered the virtual courthouse field trip in Barkerville, the time Miss Morrison had us do jumping jacks in live class, and also roasting each other in our grad superlative meeting. Something that we can all agree on is that we will also miss the amount of times Hudson will pipe up in encounter class. Alana and Beth both enjoyed how Brooklyn and Jacob went to great lengths for the orca to be the school's mascot. Their video persuasion to vote for the orca was incredible and hilarious. Alana also really enjoyed the teacher synchronized swim video. On to Nathaniel. His favorite memory at West Coast was getting to see a whole bunch of new faces, and I think we can all agree with that. Anya agrees, as her favorite memory, in her words, would have to be meeting all of these wonderful people. She has made such amazing friends coming to West Coast that will stick with her forever. Lastly, my favorite memory here at West Coast is getting to see everyone during Zoom classes and being able to bond with so many great friends from all over, as well as going to work parties each week and having hilarious conversations with the teachers and hearing some of their fun stories. I think my favorite memory during a work party was when Ms. Kartik bestowed upon me the glorious power of being a host. And I may or may not have abused that such power by threatening to kick Jacob out to the waiting room. And I'm pretty sure I even did, but anyway, there is so much many wonderful memories that has happened and that has been made here. And I would just like to lastly add a thank you to everyone here at West Coast who made coming to this school such a blessing to be at. It is a place that I hold dear to my heart and will greatly miss the time that I spent here. Thank you.
As seniors and now finally graduating high school students, we've had to deal with the responsibilities and stresses that come along with that. This past year was an overwhelming one for me personally, and I know it was for a lot of my classmates as well. Between getting assignments in, working, making sure everything was in line to graduate, and applying to multiple universities and scholarships, I was feeling the pressure.
I began my year with a smile on my face, and I had the word proactive as my word of the year. I'm sorry, Mrs. Sutherland, but that didn't go as planned. Halfway through my senior year, I got busy with work, college interviews, physics, and a few other things. But I felt like with everything I did, every assignment I got done, I was taking one step forward and 2 steps back. Everything kept piling up, and I didn't know how to keep going. I got too busy to take time for myself, too busy for my family, and too busy to spend enough time with God. Even in my free time, I stressed about that next physics test I would have to do. But when the time came, I lacked the energy and motivation to do it. I felt like I couldn't go to God anymore because I had neglected him when it seemed easy and when I thought I could handle things on my own. I felt so guilty for treating him like a spare tire, only asking for help in the hard times when I needed him. I was so confident that I could take the wheel and control my own life, but instead, the hole that I was digging kept getting deeper and deeper. Finally, feeling completely hopeless, I begged God to help me out of yet another situation I had gotten myself into. Immediately after pleading in prayer with God, asking him to carry this burden, I felt peace and comfort and knew that God was going to get me through this hardship. He gave me the energy and perseverance to do everything that I needed to. One by one, I got things done and figured out. I even did a whole chapter of physics in 3 days. Mr. Brock probably thought it was a miracle. So now, as we go out into the world and experience new beginnings, we need to remember to give our burdens to God and to continue coming to him with our troubles, even if they seem small. The Bible tells us that the angels marvel at how little we pray to God and talk to him about our struggles. Soon, many of us will be heading off to universities, living away from home, starting businesses and careers, and it's not going to be easy. So as we face these new challenges, remember that God is bigger than all of them, and he wants to take away our worries and burdens if we let him. I would like to close quickly with a verse that I found a while ago that helped me. This verse is Philippians 4, verse 6-7, and it reads, "Do not be anxious about anything, but in everything, by prayer and supplication with thanksgiving, let your requests be made known to God, and the peace of God, which surpasses all understanding, will guard your hearts and your minds in Christ Jesus."
I just want to thank you, Nathaniel, for showing up. I don't feel like the minority anymore, so that's awesome. I'm not going to claim to be a prophet, at least not in public, although I do certainly enjoy taking a stab at predicting the future. It fascinates me to think about us as a group of individuals from so many different geographical areas. Our stories of how we ended up at West Coast are incredibly unique, and no doubt our futures will be too. One thing I can say is that our futures will be forever altered by our time at this school. I know for me, the people in this virtual room have left an impact on my life and how I perceive the world around me. A lot of us have similar aspirations for this next year of our lives. Several of us plan to take the next year off, although I can assure you that off doesn't mean sitting on a beach sipping lemonade. Some of us are planning on taking courses to upgrade. I know I may come back to West Coast to do physics. Mr. Brock, aren't you excited for another year of constant questions? Most of us will find work or continue jobs we already have. Beth, you have the coolest job in BC. Don't give that up. Scores of us, some of us, are brave enough to dive right into university this fall. Anya, you might be slightly crazy to jump right in. Good luck with post-secondary. A few of us are super ambitious. Sarah plans to attend a dictatorship program next fall. Then again, you probably don't want to be taking predictions from me. I'm the guy who in grade 10 was planning on going to Oxford for engineering after graduation. What am I doing now? Taking the next year to start the adventure of living in my parents' basement, alone. Well, we'll be upstairs. But I know we all have big prospects ahead of us, and we'll do more than our fair share to leave a mark on history. This year in Encounter, we covered the story of David in depth. And one of the lessons we drew from it was David standing back up after each fall and continuing to try to be a man after God's own heart. One thing my prophetic eye sees is that the future doesn't promise ease or relaxation. I can look back into the past and see times throughout my high school journey where I had falls. Sometimes I got back up, dusted myself off, and moved on. Other times, like when I was a bit sick and got slightly behind, I had to rely on others to pick me up from my mess. And that was a lesson I will never forget. I learned that a fall doesn't mean you have to quit, but it means you have a chance to start fresh with a new perspective. I learned the hard lesson that it is okay to ask others for help when you need it. To those people, both classmates and teachers, I am forever indebted to and deeply grateful. If it wasn't for those selfless people, I am more than certain I wouldn't be graduating with this class today. I've taken away academic knowledge from my experience at West Coast, which is important. Yet the most valuable wisdom I acquired during my time here were the life lessons I learned, both from listening to the stories of others and my own journey through school. That was true learning for me. In closing this address for the graduating class of 2021, I want to say on behalf of our class, thank you to everyone who was involved in this distinctive experience. Thank you to our families who stood by our side and had patience with us. Thank you to the other grades who learned with us, bringing their humor and their ideas to the table. Thank you to the phenomenal teachers and administrators who guided and occasionally pushed us along the way. Our gratitude to them is interminable. Finally, I want to say thank you to the rest of my class. What a stellar group of people this class is shaped up to be. I think we could all agree that God has a sense of humor. I know West Coast wasn't originally what I planned to be for high school, and from talking to some of my classmates, it wasn't what they originally imagined either. Yet somehow God moved us all around and lined everything up like a master game of chess. All of us are from totally different backgrounds, situations, locations, places on the map, Brooklyn. But we somehow clicked together like pieces in a puzzle. Our class has made so many great memories together, and it's been more than pleasant getting to know everyone here. We mostly built each other up. We went through the same trials in school and mastered them. We band together in a heroic effort, making the orca the symbol of West Coast and leaving a permanent mark on the school. When we look back in 5 or 10 years, I'm sure that while we will remember the rough spots, we will also see these moments as the best of times. People often see graduation as an end, the end of school, the end of childhood, and the ending to many friendships they nurtured as children. I don't think that is so. I see graduation as a springboard, the ground zero for launching us into a new place in life. We have only so far sampled. This isn't an end, but simply a pause to gain new perspective. The valuable knowledge and relationships we built will now propel us into this incredible sector of life. And we owe that to these last few years of hard work that we all put in. Graduating class of 2021, we've done an awesome job and made everyone around us proud. Now, as Ms. Sutherland oft says, let's go out into the world and do the things. Thank you.
You grade 12s. I only had to use one Kleenex. Thank you. It seems like such a small phrase to say in response to the kind words you've just spent so much time sharing with us. But we want to say thank you for expressing your gratitude, and sharing your experiences in such a meaningful way. And especially thank you for being a part of West Coast. Speaking of doing the things, we're going to turn our attention to our grade 8 students who have done the things. They have completed their elementary education here at West Coast, and it's been such a joy to meet each one of these students every week in live classes, and it's been a real privilege for me to have been your teacher. You have each shown me how to bring passion, curiosity, and joy into the everyday. So what we're going to do now is take a few moments to watch this video here to see how you've grown and hear your parents' wishes for your future.
Middle school graduation ring, yay! We love you so much, and we're very proud of you as your daughter. And we love watching you find joys to explore when you use your creativity and your talents. And may you continue to find joy when things get hard. Stay curious and learn and continue to stretch yourself. And we are very happy that you graduated and off to high school next year. And I just want to remind you that you're valuable and we love you and God has amazing plans for you.
It's amazing to see your transformation through the years. You have not only grown in stature, but you have developed godly characters throughout your life. Your dad and I wish for you continued growth in all areas of your life. As you move on to grade 9, may you continue to strive for excellence in all you do and be a positive influence. Colossians 3:23, whatever you do, do it unto the Lord. God bless. Love you always.
Hi, Matthias.
Hi, Matthias. This is a message for you from Mom and I, just for your graduation, just a few words of encouragement and our thoughts for you. Want to let you know that we're super proud of you. I'm very, very proud of you. I am always amazed at your skills in various things. You're very skilled and talented. You have a very sharp mind. Just remember to apply yourself to all things fully and do it as unto God, not unto man. We have to answer to God, not to man. So remember that we seek God's approval, not man's approval. And just have a verse for you, and then Mom's going to have something to say here. So this verse is Jeremiah 29:11. For I know the thoughts that I think toward you, says the Lord. Thoughts of peace and not of evil, to give you a future and a hope.
Proud of you, my boy. I am amazed by all your skills and your sweetness, and I just really want you to keep being positive and just keep a balance in your life and make sure you put God number one. And the quote that I have for you is, what lies behind us and what lies before us are small matters compared to what lies within us. We love you very much and we wish you all the best.
We love you and we're proud of you. Love you, Taz.
Love you.
Graduation. It signifies moving on to high school, but for you, it means going on to boarding school. It just amazes me to look at all your pictures and how in just 18 months you have grown from a little boy to this fine young man. I know it hasn't always been easy living in Uganda, but I thank you for always having a good attitude and a sense of adventure, even though many times things were frustrating or it just didn't make sense. I thank WCAS for the opportunity for us to learn together, and I loved witnessing your light bulb moments, like the time you figured out how it was so cool that archaeological finds connect with the stories in the Bible, or when you memorized Isaiah 44 verse 3 in rap. I know you're saying it right now in your head. My wishes for you are: 1, God will be your everyday personal experience. 2, you hold on to the exuberance and curiosity of your childhood as you continue to make your quest in making a mark in this world. 3, smile, be kind, and hard work always pays off. Part of the journey is lost if you always take the shortcut.
You have been very patient, and I know that you are very excited to go to Auburn Adventist Academy. My wish for you is for you to continue to develop your character. You are very smart, and I know that knowledge will give you power, but character will earn you respect. May this Bible verse guide you as you enter grade 9. Whatever you do it from your heart and with passion for God. Colossians 3, verse 23.
Another verse that we want you to keep close to your heart is Psalms 37, verse 4. Always remember, Mama, Papa love you very much, and we're so proud of you. Love you, Nix.
It is now time for our graduation address. I'm honored to introduce to you our keynote speaker. The graduating class has invited Mr. Phil Kudima to speak to us. He is a superintendent at the Office of Education in the British Columbia Conference. Thank you for joining us today, Mr. Kudima.
Well, thank you so much, you guys. This is a great opportunity. This is a great privilege for me. I think Mrs. Kartik told me that you guys asked like 5 people before me and I was kind of the last choice, but I'm okay with that because, you know, It's just an honor to be here. Also, I got to tell you, I was a little bit amused as I looked over Mrs. Kartik notes, and it came down on my part where it says graduation speak Phil Hudima, and then on your part it said pay attention and look like you're interested. So I appreciate that, Mrs. Kartik, and I'm good with that. So listen, I really wish that we could have just hung out in person. I know a couple of you, but just listening to all the wonderful things that your staff has said about you, you guys are awesome. I think we could just chill, and I know that you probably would just be kind of old and stuff like that. But I guarantee you, I got stories that could keep you entertained. But when I talked to some of your staff, some of the words that came out that were just always being repeated were words such as kind, leaders, dedicated, connected, polite, engaged, and a sense of humor. And like some of the things that you guys have done, like scheduling your own tutoring sessions on your own, volunteering for reading buddies, and just offering up encouraging words to your schoolmates seem to be, a norm for this class. I'm just thoroughly impressed. And Mrs. Kartik already explained, or told us that 5 of you average 90% or higher. Incredible. I'm just, blown away by that. So keep up the good work, you guys. And so being superintendent also affords me being the board chair for West Coast Adventist School. And so Mrs. Kartik, comes to board meetings once a month, and she tells me all the great things that are going on there, and shows us some of the videos and things like that, and just cool things going on. But one of the things she never showed us was your orca video. And so I got to admit, I went on this weekend YouTube and I clicked on the orca video and I watched it. And I got to let you know, I was thoroughly impressed, and might I say just a little bit disturbed with the campaigning of the orca mascot. This was a very persuasive talk by Brooklyn and Jacob that had me questioning or not, could I continue to support sweet raccoons and majestic bears? Your reasoning has now convinced me that raccoons are indeed vicious animals that can no longer be seen cute food washing large cats. And knowing that your mascot, the West Coast orca, is somehow a vegetarian makes me feel so much better, knowing that all those nature videos that I watched, the killer whales, orcas, were just playing with those cute seals. It had me laughing the entire time I was watching it. And I don't know how anyone voted against that. So it's very understandable how you guys came up with the orcas. So very cool. I sent out an email and asked you guys some questions about yourself. And so I just want to, let some other people know some of the out of the box things about you guys that maybe you didn't present, and so interesting class, some of your funniest moments I heard you recall just being on Zoom meetings, just hanging out. In fact, I admit, I wish I could have been involved in some of those Zoom meetings and just chatted with you guys. And, I just wanted a little bit of a word for advice for Anya there, by chatting with your friends and doing it privately. You do know that teachers have the ability to see those private messages, right? I'm just kidding. Or am I? So just be careful on those private chat messages. I asked you guys the question, if money wasn't an object, where would you like to live? I got just some great answers. Jacob, I got to spend a little more time with you on this because the 3 jobs that you said you wanted to do, F1 race car driver, high-powered investment firm, and you wanted to dabble in the field of espionage. So where did Jacob decide to live to be able to live out those dreams? Salmon Arm, British Columbia. Salmon Arm is beautiful. It is amazing. I love Salmon Arm. Great people up there. I don't know, maybe in Enderby or Falkland, you might be able to break up some spy espionage groups that are going on there. I don't know, but Salmon Arm, can't go wrong with Salmon Arm. And you do know what BC stands for, right? Best Coast. I know you're out there in the East Coast, but Best Coast, BC's Best Coast. Alana chose somewhere in Europe. Awesome choice. Anya suggested Switzerland for a few years. Sarah indicates Scotland so she could learn more about her heritage. Nathaniel picked London, which is awesome. Brooklyn took this one seriously, though, folks. I'm just going to read what she wrote verbatim because can't beat what she wrote. This is Brooklyn. I would have houses on every continent, including Antarctica. And most of the countries, too. Oh, yeah, plus a few houseboats. I did say money was no object, so Brooklyn, I applaud your imagination. So very well done. Beth, your answer touched my heart as she says she would take the money as a gift from God and go do mission work anywhere he would send me. I hope that becomes reality for you, Beth, and just thank you for that amazing answer. Some of your favorite memories of staff included, and I don't even know what's going on here. I'm just going to say it, and then you guys can disseminate this afterwards. But one of it was, I guess, Mr. Brock has a cat named Rommel. I don't know about that one. Of course, the famous synchronized swimming video staff. And I'm going to reiterate, if you haven't seen it, go on YouTube and you watch it, especially Mr. Brock. You stole the show on that one. So watch the video. And Mrs. Sutherland, one of their favorite memories is when you say to do the things. I don't know what that means. It sounds like something off of Seinfeld or something. But Mrs. Engelbrecht getting kicked out of the class. I'm not quite sure what that one was. But Mrs. Morrison, this is endearing. Sharing a Bible verse with someone that helped me with some difficult times in my life. And a lot of you, but just having the teachers listen and care about us. Awesome, you guys. People you looked up to. Jacob, Joseph's dad. Alana said there's just too many to choose from. Anya State said it's her dad and grandpa. Sarah's number one here is her grandma Hazel. Beth says her aunt and uncle are top on her list. Nathaniel has three, his mother, grandmother, and brother. And Brooklyn pays tribute to her sister. When I asked what you would miss most about West Coast, it was almost unanimous. It was the people and the teachers. I know this is supposed to be about you graduates, but I want to pause for a moment and personally thank our incredible teachers at West Coast. You have impacted these students' lives and you have made a difference in their lives. Thank you for this amazing path that you have chosen to teach. You are greatly appreciated, and that's just personally and from the office, and I'm sure I'm telling you what the parents want to say as well. So now that we know a little bit more about you, I told you I'm not going to make this long. I'm going to tell you a story. And unfortunately, it is a story from when I was a kid, but it's a story of when I was your age. Most of your parents probably won't remember this, except for Brooklyn, your dad. He's like way older than I am, so he'll remember it. But it happened in 1980, and I was a freshman at Canadian Union College. And it was a little scary bit of a time because if people remember, USSR had just invaded Afghanistan. And I remember the headlines on the papers were World War III with a question mark. And guess what? I'm 18 years old. I'm prime age to be drafted if there's a World War III. So we've got all this uneasy feeling, and we're a little bit scared. And in the month of February, just to guess what came along? The Winter Olympics came along. And so it kind of drew everyone together. So we kind of put our mind about what was going on in the world, and we had a chance to cheer for our countries and things like that. And the story I want to tell you, it's a movie made out of it. It's called Miracle on Ice. And I think a lot of you have probably seen it. Even though I'm true blue Canadian, in 1980, I was cheered for the Americans to win that gold medal in hockey here's a group of kids that were going to play. It's kind of like the Montreal Canadiens getting into the Stanley Cup. They were the last to make the playoffs. No one expected them to get out of the first round, and now they're in the Stanley Cup finals. This one is 10 times more hard to believe. The Soviet Union had a powerhouse team. They had guys that had played with each other for 10 years. Here, the Americans put together a team of these 18, 19, 21-year-old kids. I think their average age was 20 years old. And they go to play the Soviet Union. We called them the Russians back then. And it was no chance at all. In fact, the game a week or two before the Olympics, they got pounded 10-3 in an exhibition game. Their coach, Herb Brooks, he just molded this team into this amazing unit. And So he takes his team and they get to the first, and they get to the medal round. In the first round of the medal round, who do they get paired up against? The Russians. So here's these kids in the locker room ready to go, waiting for these words of inspiration to come from their coach. And he simply walks into there. You could have heard just a pin drop, no one saying a word. And he looks at his team and he goes, men, he said, great moments are born from great opportunities. And he turns and walks out. Well, not very hip hip hooray, but everyone thought about that. Well, you know the story. They went out there, back and forth. You know, at the end of the first period, it was 2-2. Then the Russians went ahead 3-2 in the third period, and then the Americans were pushing and pushing and pushing, and finally they scored to tie the game up. And with about 10 minutes left to go in the game, Michael Ruzioni shot the puck, scored the goal. Now the Americans are up by 4-3. Clock is ticking down. The Soviets are out playing them. They bombarded them. The shots were like 14-2, you know, in the last 10 minutes. It was just crazy. And then we hear, you know, 10, 9, do you believe in miracles? And the Soviet and the Americans win the match. Just crazy. I remember being 18 and watching this and just feeling amazing. You know, it's rated as one of the best sports moments in the century of the 1900s, you know, just amazing. You know, so, you know, even though a great story, I just want you to just dwell on what Herb Brooks said. Great moments are born from great opportunities. You have had great opportunities. You know, remember the opportunity that your parents have given you to be a part of West Coast. Remember the opportunity that West Coast has given you to be a part of their school. Remember the opportunity that your teachers have given you. I'm sure you've already had great moments in your life, and you're going to have so many more great moments in your life. And you know, as they come along and stuff like that, you're just going to do these incredibly great things, and I'm so proud of each and every one of you. But I'm not sure what your moments will be. But maybe, you know, Brooklyn, maybe your moment will be when you're one day playing in the pits of Broadway, and your musical talent will take you places that you dreamed of. You know, Beth, your awesome moment could be when you're overseas working in a mission field as a first responder, where your love for children gives you meaning in doing God's work. Alana, your moment could be when you are working as a traveling geriatric nurse in Europe, and you're a comfort to your parents. Jacob, when you become leader of an investment firm and you use your earnings to make a difference in the lives of less fortunate people in Salmon Arm. Anya, your moment could be when you become head of a medical imaging center and you save lives by diagnosing people's ailments. Nathaniel, your moment could be when you become an actor and live in London and are the first person from Langley, BC to win an Academy Award. Sarah, your moment could be when you become a nurse or a teacher. I vote teacher, Sarah, and Brooklyn, I vote teacher. I mean, that's just me, you know, so if I got any say, teacher. But, you know, and then your love for mission trips will afford you opportunity to change people's lives, Sarah. You know, that could be your moment. I want to leave you with this. There are no challenges in life, only opportunities. You will have so many opportunities in your life to make a difference. I pray you follow God's leading and change the world. Remember, great moments are born from great opportunities. My wish and prayer for all of you is that you truly understand that the greatest opportunity you will ever have is because of a man that gave his life on a cross over 2,000 years ago so that you and I could have the greatest moment ever. Make your greatest moment when you look into the face of Jesus and he declares, "Well done, thy good and faithful servant." All other moments are meaningless unless you achieve this one. God bless all of you and much success on your incredible journey.
Thank you, Mr. Hudima, for your words of wisdom and humor and inspiration for our grads. Next, we'll enjoy a special music prepared for our grads by Brooklyn, Anya, Sarah, and Beth.
people come into our lives for a reason, bringing something we must learn, and we are led to those who will help us most grow if we let them, and we will help them in return. Well, I don't know if I believe that's true, but I know I'm who I am today because I knew you. Like a comet pulled from orbit as it passes a sea, like a stream that meets a boulder halfway through the wood. Who can say if I've been changed for the better? But because I knew you, I have been changed for good.
It well may be that we will never meet again in this lifetime. So let me say before we part, so much of me is made of what I learned from you. You'll be with me like a handprint on my heart. And now whatever way our stories end, I know you have rewritten mine by being my friend. Like a ship blown from its mooring by a wind off the sea, like a seed dropped by a skybird in a distant wood. Who can say if I've been changed for the better? But because I knew you, because I knew you, I have been changed for good.
It's often said how a teacher can touch a life to inspire, to open up new doors, and they will lead us with patience and love if we let them. We know it will come true. Well, we all found value in this time, and it made us who we are today because we were here. Like a teacher swimming on camera through construction paper props. Like a guy who pulled his swim cap and let go too soon. These experiences changed us for the better. Because we knew you, we have been changed for good.
Oh, that was so beautiful and heartwarming, ladies. I'm truly touched by your beautiful words. Thank you. Every year, it is important for us to take some time to celebrate the people who have gone above and beyond in making our West Coast community truly remarkable in so many ways. We begin the awards portion of our program by acknowledging the student who achieved the highest grade point average in high school courses, our valedictorian. The student who receives the top average marks from each secondary school in Canada is awarded the Governor General's Academic Medal. We are proud to recognize the outstanding achievements of our 2021 recipient, Brooklyn Gerber, who graduates today with a grade point average of an impressive 95%. Brooklyn has a few words to share with us today.
Thank you, Mrs. Kardik. I'm sitting here today reading my speech from an unformatted page with no works cited, using not Times New Roman, but Arial and a whopping size 14 type font, and it feels so good. In Latin, valedictorian means farewell sayer. And I am so honored to be here today and represent this super special class of 2021 giving the farewell speech. Without all the teachers you've seen here today and our parents, none of us would be here. So I, on behalf of all the grads, thank you again for continually pouring into us each and every day. We as a grad class hope that each time you see the orca, not the bear or raccoon, but the orca on our logo, you will remember us with the fondest memories. Over the course of our high school years, we have learned so much. Sadly, I don't have all day to tell you about our knowledge, so I'll have to keep it short. We have learned that as sneaky as we think we are, teachers can still tell when we're private chatting with others. My deepest apologies, Mrs. Sutherland, and Jacob, you should apologize to Mr. Brock. Secondly, we've learned so much about time management and the art of Canva, Google Slides, and forever converting to a PDF. And lastly, we've also learned firsthand how technology can connect a bunch of teenagers across not only Canada, but Uganda and America too, and form bonds never to be forgotten. So many of us don't know our plans for the future, but if you take one thing away from this speech, let it be this: plan on God. All of us came to this school for different reasons, but when we take a step back and try to see the master plan, it's clear to us all that God blessed each one of our decisions. As Proverbs 16 verse 3 says, commit to the Lord whatever you do, and he will establish your plans. As mentioned previously, we have learned from the teachers countless life lessons, computer hacks, and seen God's light through them. As the song said, because we knew them, we have been changed for good. Now, as we move on and let our teachers influence the next generation of kids, I encourage each and every one of you, my sweet grad class, to put your life in Jesus's hands, because knowing him will change you for the better, for good. The world we face is scary right now. Our pandemic is just starting to be part of history. Racial tensions are at an all-time high, and this cancel culture is making its rounds. All these topics are so divisive, and people want answers. However, in the wise words of Carl Kosart, professor of theology at Walla Walla University, the only real solution resides in the healing, cleansing, and change of heart that can be found in Jesus Christ. Our world needs Jesus to come so badly, but we can't foretell when Jesus will come. So it's up to us to show his love to everyone until that time. We've been trained by our parents and teachers to love everyone, no matter their beliefs, as Jesus did, to hear people out and make them feel heard, not to cancel others when we don't agree with them, but to talk like adults. And I'll tell you right now, sometimes we won't actually talk, we'll just listen. So let's go out into the world and bring our fruits of the spirits we've gained from our school. Our love, joy, peace, patience, kindness, goodness, faithfulness, gentleness, and self-control. And let's not only have been changed for good, but let's be the change in others. So to my class of 2021, farewell. I've grown to love and care for each of you more than I thought possible. And I know that no matter what this world throws at us, we've been prepared for it. And we have a whole school, church, and family rallying behind us. If any of you ever need a place to stay, help with an assignment, or a friend to talk to, you know I'm only one text away. I can't wait to see what plans God has for each of you, and I'm looking forward to the day where I can hug you all in person. Congratulations, class of 2021.
think we'll come back to our Berman Award and we'll sort out our technical difficulty there, but let's move on to our next award, which I can't wait to give out. So let's do it. As I do the things, it's like do the things. Like right now, we're going to do the things. So we're going to do the Caring Heart Award. Let me get back to my script. Teaching young people to make witnessing and service a central part of their lives is one of the primary goals of Adventist education. At West Coast, it is not uncommon to see students taking advantage of our flexible learning environment to engage in witnessing, service, and each year the North American Division sponsors the Caring Heart Award, giving recognition to secondary students who have demonstrated a personal commitment to making the world a better place and sharing the love of God. The recipient will receive a special scholarship certificate with a value of $500, which can be used towards mission trips, and accompanied by a plaque and an engraved Bible. The West Coast student receiving this award is conscious of the positive power of service. She is involved in her local community, which has included her wearing her on-call fire department radio in class. She has demonstrated a heart for service within the West Coast community and as far afield as Tanzania. And as you've heard, she's worked on fundraising to cover the costs of education for a group of orphans. Beth Thompson, it is my absolute privilege to award you the Caring Heart Awards. And I will be sending you this beautiful plaque. You're so welcome, Beth. And I will be sending you a Bible. And you were going to go use that money to go do mission work, okay? Congratulations, Beth.
This is Sutherland. Just before you turn off your video, I'd like to say a few words about another caring heart who's treasured by our school. I'm proud to tell our West Coast community that Mrs. Sutherland has won the SDA Canadian Teacher of the Year Award for 2021. Out of many nominations that were submitted to the union, our own Mrs. Sutherland was selected this year, and those who know her will know exactly why. Mrs. Sutherland is a wonderful example of what it means to be an amazing educator. Rather than seeing our very unique educational environment as a hurdle, Mrs. Sutherland sees it as an opportunity to connect and work with students and coworkers from all across Canada and the world. Mrs. Sutherland is known by her students and fellow staff members as a hard worker, a brilliant and creative educator, and a woman of exceptional character. For 9 years, Mrs. Sutherland has provided the highest quality of education for each of her students. Mrs. Sutherland, we're so proud of you, and we want to thank you today for your dedicated commitment to the mission of our school and to Adventist education. This award comes with a plaque, which Mrs. Sutherland's husband will be presenting to her today, and also a monetary prize of $1,000. As well, our very first yearbook will be dedicated to you, Mrs. Sutherland. Thank you again for your service and congratulations.
Thank you so very much. That's amazing. Wow, thanks.
Mr. Hudima will now be giving out another award.
I have the great opportunity to give an award out. It's called the Friend of Adventist Education Award. And this comes from the British Columbia Conference, not from West Coast, not from the SDACC, but from our conference. We want to recognize someone who has been a friend of Adventist education for many, many, many years. This individual that will receive this award has served on our board at West Coast for the past 4 years. This individual never misses an opportunity to promote and celebrate West Coast, particularly its teachers, writes articles for the Messengers, regularly describing what school at home is like for her children, competing the West Coast program. And so this individual, you know, is transitioning out of West Coast because she's going to be sending her kids to a boarding school next year. But it gives me great privilege to give the Friend of Adventist Education Award with a check of $250 to Betty Aguilar. And this is our nice plaque that we're going to send you, Betty, and your check for $250. And that should pay for at least a round ticket to come home and visit us once in a while. But thank you so much, Betty, for all you do for Adventist education. And thank you for what you've done for West Coast this year. You are truly an ambassador of our system of education. Thank you so much.
The 7 students we are here to celebrate today have successfully completed the graduation requirements for a BC Dogwood diploma or the graduation requirements for an NAD certificate of graduation for those who live outside of the province. They will now be presented with their diplomas. As you'll see, we are doing things a little differently than we would if we were face-to-face. We'll be handing diplomas virtually and then celebrating with a fist pump instead of a handshake. Graduates, are you ready?
Presenting Brooklyn Gerber. Presenting Nathaniel Gromick. Presenting Alana Johnston. Presenting Anya Maffei. Presenting Sarah McFarland. Presenting Jacob Paddock. Presenting Beth Thompson.
Honored guests, family members, and friends, it is my distinct pleasure to introduce you to the graduating class of 2021. Thank you again for attending the West Coast graduation today. Mr. Hudima will now be offering our closing prayer.
Let's pray. Loving Father, today we pray for tomorrow. We pray that these 7 graduates will move forward in their lives, ensuring that you are part of all of their decisions. That tomorrow will bring them a world of opportunities that will allow them to have great moments. That tomorrow they will move forward using all that they have learned from their teachers and those that surround them with love. Today, Lord, we give these precious children to you. Thank you for guiding and directing them, and may they take on every challenge in life and make them opportunities. We are so thankful for today, but we pray for tomorrow. Amen.
Thank you so much for coming. We hope you have a great weekend. See you soon. Bye.